Good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and welcome to Scotty Ray's Weather. It is Wednesday, July 1st. We're at midweek and a new month, and July is roaring in as we get ready to celebrate our independence here in a nation that, well, has been rocked by lots of things here lately. But that is coming up this weekend, and I hope we can find some unity as we move forward toward this. Well, what's the weather going to do today? Well, let's jump right on into that. Brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. As we go over to see what the National Weather Service tells us, heat stress conditions, it's out to our west. That doesn't mean it's not going to be hot here, but that line is going to be right at the Jackson area, just west of Morton. So that's something to keep in mind as you're planning your day. If you're going that way, it's going to be worse. It's 105 that way. I think we've got 102 here. So not much difference. As we look at thunderstorm chances, the National Weather Service tells us that we're 1 out of 5 in the Meridian area between now and tomorrow night through Thursday. So keep that in mind as you're planning. We're going to have some rain moving in. That's right around the corner. As I said, our forecast brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. We go over down a radar to see exactly what's going on. And let's pull up radar here and take a look at what we've got. Now, these shaded areas here are already issued by the National Weather Service in Arkansas. We go on in over to Dallas, Texas area, Oklahoma. All of these areas now have heat advisories. And South Mississippi Gulfport area down from Baton Rouge to New Orleans has this also. Now, as we look at, we've got showers north of us. And if you'll see this, a few thunderstorm activities here that are happening north of Columbus. That's where Tupelo is. That's going to cut across through Birmingham and also just barely tipping Tuscaloosa there as we look at the forecast of where it's going to go on over toward Oxford, Alabama as well. But so we're not going to get that round. So what is in store for us today? As we tell our forecast, we have a 50% chance of showers today. Now, this is going to be sometime sunny, and then that rain will move in. It's afternoon showers is when we're expecting that. Heat index 102 here for our surrounding areas. Our high is going to reach it to 93. But what's 93 when it feels like 102? You guessed it, it's hot. Tonight, 60% chance of rain. And that's mainly the thunderstorms are going to move in right before daylight, around 4 a.m., and then we'll have a low around 73 for tonight. Now, tomorrow, that's when our biggest chance of thunderstorms happen, an 80% chance tomorrow. We'll have thunderstorms again in the afternoon after 1 o'clock. Heat index should be 101. That could go up, but it's at 101 now. For tomorrow night, a 40% chance. And the extended forecast through as we get toward Independence Day Friday, we got a 40%, and then it looks like it could be a rainy forecast for the 4th of July on Saturday with a 60% chance of showers throughout the day and thunderstorms. So it's going to be rain in the forecast, so plan around your events of what you're going to do for the 4th, keeping in mind that's what's going on. So I hope you got that one figured out. As we start looking at news stories that is happening nationwide, schools are getting ready to adjust, and some of that's out of maybe going a couple of days, going home, doing some by internet. Once all that's settled, we'll go over that. As we move to news around the nation, St. Louis, and I know that so many people get tired of hearing these things of people wanting to tear down statues, change names of cities, but they are calling in St. Louis to take down what St. Louis was named after. He was a French king from France, and I've never really known all that much about him, but they're wanting the statue torn down, and then, of course, next it will be renaming the city. Not sure how that's turning out for them, but with what's gone on lately, you never know. As we move to our next story this morning, this is going to be bad for America. I don't care where your feet sit in the United States, but the L.A. City Council announced plans to replace the LAPD with a group called the Unarmed First Responders to handle nonviolent service calls. Well, we all know that when a cop goes, it can be nonviolent before it's over. It becomes violent. Doing away with our police departments is not the way to handle this. This is going to become a lawless nation quickly. Of course, John and Ponch. Can't mention the LAPD without them, can we? But that's where L.A. is at this point. And I want to say that in New York City, they have taken $1 billion away from the police department. Not good. That's a big city. You think about going on your vacation there. Do you really want to go to New York City now? when there's no one. If you call 911, there's not going to be anybody to help you. Do you really want to do that? I don't know if all this has been thought out, but we're quickly becoming lawless. As we go to our next story, and this is a prime example of this, in New York City, in broad daylight, a 64-year-old lady is walking down the street. This guy walks up behind her, chokes her, puts her to the ground, steals her purse. Now, I don't think it done any long-lasting harm to her, but you know that that's not good, what went on. Broad daylight. People get braver and braver with the absence of police, and you will see more of this. It's a sad state of what's going on right now. What not to do on vacation. A lady was in Yellowstone National Park. She got within 10 feet of the old buffalo there, and he gored her. Never do that. Let that be an example. I think she was from California, if I remember correctly. Yes, she was. But if you're taking pictures, make sure you know what you're doing. Them animals don't take too kindly to you getting in their face with the camera. As we continue what's going on in the nation, of course, you've heard by now that President Trump is getting a group of National Guardsmen to guard statues across the United States that are getting deployed for that. He says he's going to track down this group that threw paint on George Washington there in New York City in Washington Square Park. I'm sure if the federal government is after you, that is not a hard thing to do. I would think they've got enough surveillance. They can backtrack where you walked from, where you went, what you do, and what you had for cereal or breakfast last week. It's not good for you.
During these challenging times, there are some things that you can count on every day. One of them is that Rick Justice Automotive will work hard to help you find just the right vehicle. Rick Justice has late model, low mileage vehicles and 72-month, 72,000-mile warranties available on all vehicles. Come see us today, and we'll show you how we've been helping your friends and relatives find the car, truck, or SUV that was right for them. We will earn your business.
Don't forget, when you're planning your 4th of July get-together, drop in and see my friend Joe out at Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville. Anything that you need for your cookout, for your food, whether it's the freshest meat in town, they've got it for you. One place to go, and that's Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville. Drop in and see Joe. They'll have it taken care of for you. Well, the next thing that we look at, because you keep hearing the numbers are going back up, we go over to take a look at the COVID numbers in the state of Mississippi. New cases that were released yesterday was 680, 14 new deaths. As we look down for this, Wayne County is the closest that we've got to us, and then over at Hines having a death, and 95 outbreaks in long-term care facilities. As we look at the state, we're now at 27,000 cases and 1,073 deaths. We look at Lauderdale County as we try to pull that one up, and it'll take it just a second. 879 confirmed cases. In Lauderdale was 78 deaths. We look at Neshoba County, which is also a high number, 952 cases and 68 deaths. So our area still has a lot going on with this. It's not something to forget. Again, there's still arguments of how to protect yourself from this thing, but it is definitely still out there. And remember now, there's more testing being done is why these numbers keep on the rise, because each day they test and do so much more. That's where we are on that. Let's go back and look at the extended forecast now, what we've got of the rain that is moving into our area. We look at that extended forecast as we look to the 4th of July, as we said, a 60% chance of rain. Sunday, continued rain that you'll get wet going to church, and into the work week at a 70% chance of rain. So it's out there, it's coming. We want to get ahead of the game and take care of your grass before it's too late. Boy, has it been growing. You cut it 2 days later, it's like you never touched it. A big thank you to our sponsors that keep us going each day. Thank you to San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, Chino and all the gang there in the College Park area going toward the airport. SMI Automotive, if you need a truck accessory, they're there to take care of you on 22nd Avenue as you come in to Meridian. See Joe. Graphics Guru, if you need something, see Zane. They can fix you up from business cards to getting lettering on your truck where your business will stand out. Yeah, they can do that. Also, EMEPA, they're great folks there that keep all our lights on, along with Patrick Allen, those overhead doors, or maybe you need a storm shelter. Either case, they've got it covered for you. Of course, Joe at the Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Rick Justice Automotive on North Frontage Road for all those auto needs, and Hooper's on 22nd Avenue if you need a computer, if you're needing something for your church. Video-wise, they do all of that. Drop in and see Allen and the people. They'll help you there at Hooper's. Again, thank you for taking part of your day and spending it with me. If you wouldn't mind, like, share, and invite your friends to be a part of this. That's what it all happens right here at Scotty Ray's Weather. Should it turn bad, we'll break in and give you the latest street-by-street coverage.